So here is Escher on day 18. And again, playing with the Liberty stuff. I have 2 sticks to play with. One is longer and one is shorter. So starting off, I'm just kind of getting him associated with the 2 sticks. And again, when he does a behavior that I like, I will use the cluck sound and reward him with that. So starting off here with the moving step sideways where I tap his rib cage. And I help him out a little bit by asking for a little bit of a hind end yield. So associating the 2 things. And I could place him facing the panels a little closer. If you have a horse that's a little bit tougher and doesn't quite understand, you can put them a little closer to the panels to help teach them to move sideways. But he's figuring this out pretty well. And I'm just looking for 1 step sideways. I could have rewarded. That's what I was looking for. And today I have my fanny pack with just some Timothy hay pellets in there. And you'll also see I'm looking to reward him for the behavior of collecting a little bit. So I have the whips in at a kind of a V to try to get him. He likes to get a little crooked, and I'm looking for him to display straightness and then some flexion. And then anytime he kind of gets a little in my space, I tend to ignore that behavior, or I will ask him to back up. So again, I'm asking for just a little bit of the flexion down. And these are just the beginning steps because he's a little crooked, but you have to kind of start somewhere. And then I also have to be careful that I don't tend to focus too long on something and to go and then break it up by having a little bit of a walk break. And now I'm going to work the other side. And you see he's trying to think it through for a second. So I'm going to let him have a minute. That's what I wanted. So then I'm going to go and ask again. And a lot of this is preparation for teaching them the moving sideways on the rib cage is for when you are on them and you ride them with your leg pressure to get them to move left and right. This is a good way to start on the groundwork. And you see there he's getting a little muggy. I'm going to ignore. Again, he's pretty food driven. And there I rewarded him for some vertical flexion. So I'm just kind of going back and forth between playing with some of the vertical flexion with sometimes he offers it when he's searching for it. Here he's trying to rub his eyeball on the stick. And then getting him to move a little lateral. So just working on a little bit of the posture that I want him to start to carry himself in. And he's just trying to rub. Now he's just being a goofy 3-year-old. So I'm just kind of waiting him out until he does what I'm searching for. He's got to kind of find the answer here. And again, that was just right when he went straight and gave me some flexion. He thinks that the sticks are his personal scratching post, and they're not. And just trying to stay patient here. I missed it. I probably could have rewarded for 1 second, but we'll see. And sometimes you have to let them really kind of work for it. Here I'm going to ask for the back and reward him for that. And go back to asking the question, and he is getting the idea of what the question and the answer is there. I decided to give him a good rub after that. That's a little bit of hard focusing. So now we're going to work on moving our feet now. That's pretty good. He still wants to come in a little crooked and not halt straight, so that's something I have to work on. And here I'm working on getting him to come a little quicker to me. That was good positioning. And now moving to the right, which sometimes he can get a little sticky. And then here he thought about changing direction, but was able to pull him out of it. So that was actually a decent catch. So then I'm going to see if I can get him to go to the right again. There we go. Just yielding the haunches a little bit. That was pretty decent. And again, I use the cluck sound as a bridge for when he does the correct behavior, because sometimes it takes me a minute to give him the cookie or the Timothy pellets in his case. Going back to the draw. And I will be able to use how he wants to kind of do a little bit of lateral to me a little later when I teach him to side pass to me. So it's sometimes if they offer a behavior, you can take it and just cue them up on it. If they're willing to give it to you, it just makes your job a little easier. So now I'm trying to get him to trot up with me. That was pretty good. And then anytime I ask for energy, I'm then going to go and rub and make sure we deflate the energy. So then they learn to go up and down, sometimes it's easy to just go, go, go. I have to always check to make sure I'm in the frame. And there, when I revisited a little bit of the posture, gave me a pretty good answer. It's been a fun journey to kind of play with because he's really nice and motivated, and every Mustang is a little bit different. So working on doing a little bit of mirroring work here, getting him to trot. I'm just waiting for a second, and then I can reward. Working on a little bit of shoulder crossover, so for our pivot. That was pretty nice right there. And my student had asked me a question, so I had to take a minute to talk to her. I had to correct something on my phone, so we took a little bit of a break.
There you go.
He had a nice release with his tongue. He has the funniest tongue. And getting him to just stay in sync with me right here. That was pretty nice. Pretty nice backup. And again, I get a really nice lick and chew. I'm going to ask him for the back. And give him a rub and scratch reward. And then to finish off kind of the session, I like to pick up his feet. Working on the stretch. Give a reward for that because he still feels a little nervous for that. So, and then here when I was picking up the back leg, he's clearly out of balance. So I should have positioned him a little bit better. But then when I repositioned him, he went into the exact same spot. So I just went ahead and asked him to go ahead and pick it up anyways. I'm going to ask him to come forward. That was pretty good with the left front. And again with the reward. And right now I'm just got into the crumbs, so I'm working on the hind leg. He's getting a little anticipating of wanting that reward, so I gotta make him work for it. And here I'm going to wait until he actually turns his head away from me. There. And so that was a pretty good day with Escher, with working with the 2 sticks and playing around with Liberty work. Here I'm going to give him a little call so he'll come to me. He does that pretty good. He's starting to know his name really well. And looking forward to our next session.